you sort of journaling and writing things down. I saw you mentioned it again in an interview this week. And the summer you've been writing things down. I just wonder, was that part of that around your sort of messaging to the squad this season? Because I imagine this is a very different message you're giving to them than you would have done in the past.
It didn't have that purpose. It was something that it came naturally, that I felt that I wanted to do, that I enjoyed a lot doing it. And it was a period of, again, self-reflection especially, and then understand, okay, where do we want to take this football club, these players, what is the journey that I want to be involved in, and what happens to me and my family and my life in the next few years as well, in the next few months. And it helped me. It made me feel better. It gave me energy. It gave me clarity as well. And I think one of the main things that I have to be able to provide is clarity and a clear direction, and then have the ability to convince all of them that this is the right way to go.
And do you ever worry about motivating the players when they've achieved what they wanted? I think here at the training ground, I remember you installed that trophy that's now lit up. You won the Premier League. So every day they're going to walk in and see that, and they're not going to think, oh, we've done that now, we've reached the top. How do you get them to say that, well, you need to go and do that again?
Well, because they got the message immediately, and most importantly, the message came from them. Immediately after doing that, they were already talking about what is next and what they want to do. I think they enjoy the company and the journey so much that they want to keep this momentum, and they wanted to do it with a group of players that we have right now, and that's great.
Okay, Ed, go ahead.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you about Martín Zubimendi, if that's right. Last year, he obviously came in big signing, had a great start, and then towards the end of the season was a bit out of the team because he maybe ran a bit out of energy. How is he now, and I want to ask how he reacted to being out, not starting in the Champions League final? If you still see him as a major part of the team.
Well, Subi, without a doubt, he was one of the best players for Arsenal last season. I mean, without him, we would never get into the position that we got in the last few weeks. And he deserves massive credit. He certainly credit from all of us, all the coaches, myself, and especially his teammates. We know that without him, we would never reach the level and the way that we competed throughout 10 months. At the end, he didn't play that much. He still plays some important minutes, but he didn't play that much. But no one can neglect the importance of what we did and how important he is for us. So that's, I think, it's important to comment, because a lot of people ends with the taste. No, but this player played the Champions League final. Yeah, because this guy did it for 10 months. Otherwise, we weren't here and you wouldn't be playing in those finals. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
And what sort of condition is he in now, and how back to the disappointment of not starting such big games last season?
Well, I had various conversations with him face to face. First of all, for him to understand my decisions. He knew perfectly where they were coming from, and he's extremely honest and a straight guy. And he's so demanding of himself that sometimes it can be even too much. But he knows that, and he knew that we were going to add and increase the quality of the squad, because it has to happen in every position, and we cannot not do what we did. And then when he got to the last stage of his season, he already played 55 games. We cannot have that again at this level, and he recognizes that. And now it's going to be, okay, how I'm going to now raise the level to be able to do what I did last year, but for 11 months. That's it.
I take it there's no chance of him leaving. It's really important.
No, he's a really important player for us.
Okay, and finally Gary from the Times.
You were saying last week there's very few players who can improve the squad. You've generally been quite sort of patient in the windows and not sort of wasted money. Are you in that position now that if you don't find the right person, you would say, let's just park it for a year?
Well, I think the purpose has to be to be better than we were last year, or to be different and to evolve in a different way that can increase our probability of winning again. And we have now 4 players in the squad, probably very soon, that we believe that this is going to be the case, and if we can add more, we will try to do that, but only if that's the case, because there are the right reasons to sign, not because any other reason, because otherwise we're not going to get better, and we're gonna regret it.
Simon was on, he was asking me about the sort of changes You obviously said the week that win and you joked has now called one. But what other messaging?
No, that was a joke.
What other messaging have you changed around the training ground over the summer? What messaging have you changed in the signs around the training ground? And then just to give them a little bit of a, you know.
A little bit of a what? They don't need any kicks. I see that. If they need a kick, believe me, they will get a kick. But they don't need a kick. What they need is a realization of the energy and the desire and the passion that they have to go again this season is there, certainly there, and look after each other every day, because we have built something that is special, and it takes a long time to build it, and we need to make sure that we look after it daily. That's the most important thing.
Okay, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.